Hello there, and welcome to Flexi Time Championships 4. This is going to be a 6-week 1 versus 1 Company of Heroes 2 single elimination tournament. It is up to you to find your opponent, seek them on the battlefield and destroy them, working your way through the competition week by week, round by round until you are champion. We have Relic supporting this tournament. They're going to be casting with General's Gentlemen one of the semi-finals. We've got live broadcast of the semi-finals and the finals. The prize is going to be DLC based, is going to include the 2 new commanders, yet to be named commanders that is. And without further ado, let's get over to the brackets. We're going to start on the bottom right quadrant. We've got a player called Redbeard. This guy is fluent and utterly competent in all 5 factions of true force to be contended with. Working our way to the left, we've got number 7 seed Assbag, also known as Carry Me. A little bit of an enigma, a dark horse. We don't know too much about him. He is proficient. He's got 27 and 25 ranks respectively. Just as an aside, by the way, in this tournament we are using ranking. There is no judgment by me as to how good I think you are. It's all off your 1 versus 1 rank. Going up to the 6th seed, Von Aston. This guy's a contender. He's most notably number 2 arranged team 2 versus 2 on the ranking with Jove, and he's all in the top 20 on these 1 versus 1 ranks. Working away, we've got over our first RTN player mentioned, Momo Fosho. This guy has got a decent cabal of rankings there, and he's going to be a force to be contended with. A very good 2 versus 2 player, and one of the many RTN players in this tournament. Helping Hands, the beast from the east. This guy's going to be hard to contend with. He's been in 2 Reddit tournaments, as they were once called. Before, he got to the quarterfinals in 2, the semi-finals in 3, and in this tournament he's going to be out for blood. He's never, ever truly stamped his authority on this community before. Helping Hands is out to do that, and he's going to be somebody you don't want to mess with. Working over to the other side of the bracket after Hands, we've now got Storm Tiger Giap. This guy has told me in private, I don't know if I can say this publicly, after this tournament he plans to quit 1 versus 1. He needs to concentrate on his career. This guy has been putting the hours in on this game for years. He's from Vietnam. He's always been handicapped in tournaments because he's had a poor time to be playing them. So this format will allow him to hopefully play players when he's fresh. He's going to be out to destroy opponents in this tournament. Working over to our 2nd seed, arguably you could say this guy should be seed number 1, and the reason I say that is he has been very good in recent tournaments. He took Devem to the wire. And then we have seed numero 1. This is Jesulin. He's calling himself Jesus or Jesus or however you say that in Spanish, but yeah, this guy's an absolute Company of Heroes legend and a beast. He won the last Reddit tournament, which is the successful predecessor to Flexi Time Championship 4. He is the reigning champion, and he is going to be stamping his authority here, trying to take names, and it's going to be difficult to come up against. The seeding here, we've got the top 8 seeds are going to be entering in the 2nd week of the tournament, round 2. So they have a little rest, which leaves the rest of us to, you know, hopefully get a win against somebody that's not going to crush us straight away. From 8 all the way up to 56, this is the rest of the competition. We've got some decent mid-level players and some guys really pushing, you know, on that top tier. We've got Ciez, Dusty, Devil's Brigade, Alexander, RTN are out in force in this tournament. Shokanuku. Even I'm going to be playing in this tournament. I'm terrible. Hopefully don't crush me too hard, please. By the way, guys that didn't quite make the cut, I have arranged something for you. I've got a wild card tournament, which means all 18 guys that weren't quite in that top 56, you've got opponents to play against, and you may very well end up in the main tournament. In fact, the winner of the wildcard tournament will get a DLC prize. Not one of the best codes, never mind, but it'll be a DLC prize nevertheless. Also, if you show willingness to play and you learn the rules and you play, I'm going to be watching out for that. And if I see anybody, you know, not playing in the not the mega tournament, the regular tournament, and they don't, you know, arrange their time, or they don't show up, which by the way is disgusting, and if you don't show up for your time, you know, it's bad for the community. Please don't do that. Over to the rules now. We're getting all official. The conditions: it's standard resources, 500 victory points, fixed positions, no cold tech, all the standard stuff you could expect. Maps change each stage. Observe that, please. In round 1, it's Angerville's Longgrave for the left side of the bracket, the odd numbers. For the right side of the bracket in round 1, you've got Arnhem Checkpoint and Kolodny Firma as your decider. Over to how we decide who's the decider. I'm actually sick of Holz by this point. How we decide who's the decider. Let's go through faction choice. Obviously, no mirror matching. I don't want any allies versus allies. If you haven't got both factions, which I hope everybody's got one of each, allies or axis, so hopefully that doesn't come to that. But in first game, the lower seed. So let's go over to this first game. Clown Slayer would get the first pick in the first game of their matchup, meaning, it's going to be on Angerville, so he might want to go Wehrmacht and use a little bit of Co-1 Malmstrat. That's his prerogative. Fahu has his choice in the second game. However, please observe, it is not assumed in this tournament that Axis allies has to swap. So when it's your turn, what if you want to go the same thing again? So this lowest seed guy pushed you onto a faction that you had to play. That might be your favourite faction. You can use that again if you want to. It isn't assumed. I'm not going to say, guy, you just played allies. You can't choose an allies faction when it's your choice. It's your choice in that game. You can choose one of those 5 factions in your game when it's your choice. The other guy has to respond with a faction of the opposite side, allies axis. So it's not allies top bracket in, for example, OCF tournament. That's not applicable. No mirror matching. The choice rotates. However, in the decider, should you get to a decider, VPs take part. So every game, you're going to want to jot down how many VPs you had left when you win. When you lost, unless it's an annihilation victory, you should be on 0. But when you win, jot down the amount of victory points, and whoever has the most victory points remaining at the end of the games leading up to the decider decides. Decides. Going onwards with rules, general. Every unit, ability, DLC is allowed. This tournament should be the auto-match meta as it is now in the tournament, which will allow us to use the strats we're used to using. Should the super OP commanders on paper, by the way, that Relic are releasing be super OP, tough shit. Learn to deal with it, learn to counter it, and if hopefully if you win the tournament, you can buy the commanders. And hopefully they don't ruin the tourney, but I doubt they will. Results must be reported by the winner. Email redditco@gmail.com and attach your replays. So 2 things you've got to remember. Write down your victory points, save your replays, and then email them to me. And I will then acknowledge your win. Fair play. There will be no cheating bollocks in this tournament. If there is, report it. We'll have a look through the replays together. We'll get a few more eyes to have a look through them. And then if there is, we've got Relic communicating with me over this tournament. We'll get whoever the cheater is utterly fucked. That won't happen, though. If there's any bugs that are coming out of these patches, and Relic says this is a bug, I'll just put an announcement out saying don't use that bug. But stuff like going over the cap on your USF M10s, like Price did, that's fine. Relic have not said it's a bug. It's been there for months, so it's not a bug. Organising your game time. So that's all the official rules out of the way. These rules now go on about how you're meant to talk to your opponent. Find them in the Steam group. So in the Siege, you'll notice we've got Steam profile over here. Also in the bracket, you'll notice there is the Steam group. So go over to the Steam group and find your guy. Communicate with him. You have the deadline is the Sunday at, I think I've said, what time did I say again? 8 PM GMT, which just gives me enough time to do the admin and stuff and get everything prepared. By the semi-finals, by the way, we will be wanting you to communicate with me and whoever's going to be casting your game to hopefully we can get a live cast on the go. And that'll be good. With regards to streaming, you're going to want you guys like Helping Hand streaming. You're all absolutely fine to stream your own games up until the semi-finals. So you've got 4 rounds to stream your own games. Last 2 rounds, leave that to Generals, Gentlemen, or me and company, and we'll cast the games if that's okay with you. Going back over to how to find, so please communicate in GMT. Be mindful that I think on the 26th of October, countries go back an hour. So they go. So for example, Britain is currently GMT +1 because of British summertime. So we'll be going back an hour. All matches must be finished in one session. So no, you're losing. You go and take a 15-minute break. None of that. 5-minute break maximum. And I think I've pretty much covered everything I want to cover right now. And all that will leave me to say is, hopefully you have a fantastic time playing this tournament. Good luck. Have fun. Good manners. May Relic Jesus smile upon you from heaven, but not on your opponent. May his squads get wiped, and may he get sniped on retreat. May all bad things happen to your opponent, but to you, hopefully nice things happen, and I hope you win. You're my favourite. Thanks for that, and good luck.